now you have these 5 different fragments. Now, what's interesting of what Eric Olin Wright does is he's like, okay, I want to take a bit of dismantling, I want to take a bit of taming, I want to take a bit of resisting, and take a bit of escaping, and mix it all into a bowl and create eroding capitalism. Now, what he refers to as eroding capitalism is much like in nature, you have an ecosystem where, and then you introduce a new species where it just so happens to kind of thrive in that environment. And if you work at it and that species works at it, and then suddenly it thrives, it then takes over that environment and thrives. It was a very weird metaphor, but he at least gets his idea across that if you kind of work at the idea of eroding capitalism, and you kind of pull in these different movements, they can actually gain traction. And the examples that he uses, which I'll go into in a sec, is peer-to-peer collaboration and the knowledge commons. So actually taking the components of what capitalism does and flipping it on its head. So the typical, at least he takes an old version and then he takes a new version. So the old version is your classic peer-to-peer collaborations. And this has already happened where basically turn the clock back 30 or so years. If you were to at least find out something like, oh, hey, so when did the Soviet Union fall? You would have to go to a specific encyclopedia that you bought and then troll your way through it to find that information. However, those encyclopedias are now non-existent because you just go to Wikipedia. And Wikipedia was basically this idea of people that were passionate about a certain topic. They would go in and basically write all the necessary information that they knew about a certain topic, and everyone would contribute to this topic. And it was peers collaborating on that, and therefore that old system of buying encyclopedias, it's basically non-existent now because people have chosen a labor of love in order to contribute to this community.
And so is that an analogy you're using for like an actual ground up contribution kind of model? Is that what you're...
Well, basically, I think not necessarily. It's just that I think Eric was just pulling in ideas of if you're able to kind of bring these concepts together, you can create an environment where you you can go back to the old ideas of liberty, fraternity, and like those sort of ideas where you can actually make them worthwhile, because people are focusing on community, people are focusing on solidarity, people are actually focusing on things that are far more democratic. The final point that I wanted to talk about was the knowledge commons. So this the ideas of taking private property and spinning it on its head, like inverting it on its head, it's already out there. So let's take intellectual property. So obviously that's the idea of, hey, I'm a private capitalist firm. I want to innovate with my my research and development department. I feel like I should get some privilege on all of this technology or these innovations that I've invested time in. A minimum, I should have 8 years or a decade where I have this sort of technology to myself. And if anyone wants to use it, they have to pay me a price. Now, the whole point of the knowledge commons is, oh, okay, you have this person that wants to work on scientific discoveries, new software that people should focus on, and basically wants to share this with the world, but doesn't want a private company to take control of this knowledge. Well, this is where the knowledge comes in. There's actually specific platforms such as patent left, copyright left. I think it's BioIOS. Yes, it's biological open source, which that's more scientific based, but you basically, whether it's 3D printing, any type of software, you basically put this software or these blueprints on these open source patents, where it's the whole point of the patent is it is impossible, it is against the laws of those countries, or at least the internet, that people can actually take that knowledge and try to make it into private property.
Yes.
There are already concepts out there that it's already focused on collaboration and cooperation, where people just genuinely want their labor of love and they want to kind of share it with people.
Yes.